What people would be looking out for is a definitive roadmap for reduction of corporate tax rates in line with the announcements that were made in the 2015 budget. A host of administrative measures that would again required to be undertaken, one as a part of the government's usual tax administration reforms agenda, and second as a part of the agenda to deal with the demonetisation, because I think there is already a talk about how demonetisation is going to result in acute shortage of tax inspectors to be able to deal with the rush of demonetisation. Equally, there is a concern and apprehension being expressed, particularly by businesses, that demonetisation should not result in the taxman assuming discretionary powers. And I am sure that as a part of the administrative reforms, the government ought to do something to be able to not curb, but or curtail, but to be able to manage this balance, because otherwise, if you give a lot of discretionary powers to the taxman, then you are going to result in an overall, challenges for the taxpayers. Well, I think India being a very important component of the G20-led BEPS project is going to play a very instrumental role. So, for example, the OECD released the multilateral instrument in the month of first week of December, and India will have to sign the multilateral instrument. This is going to result in a amendment to important treaties, and India will ideally like to look at amending those treaties with which we have larger trade, investment and economic ties. I think what we will also see, along with the host of administrative measures on base erosion and profit shifting, is that India is going to roll out its general anti-avoidance law. So the law has been amended and the rules have already been announced. I anticipate that we will see some form of administrative guidance as to how this law will be rolled out. Well, I think infrastructure is a huge sector. Roads, railways and renewable energy. In my view, these three segments of infrastructure, if I may call it, has received a lot of focus, and you've seen a host of measures being taken from the regulatory standpoint, from the point of view of making sure that there is a good quality of investment. I think the focus, in my view, would be number one, on fiscal consolidation. Number two, in augmenting tax collections. Number three, a rejig of the tax rates, not just for businesses, but even for individuals as well. And number four, the ease of tax administration, taking away the fear, particularly of the common man who cannot afford professional advice. So I think the budget really, in my view, should focus on these four things. What is required really is a medium to long-term plan going beyond the intent, stating out that this is the roadmap for the next 3 to 5 years on each of these segments. I think that's very critical.